Moshe, I'm going to turn it over to you. This is Moshe, and he is with YouCan. I met him a few weeks ago, and what they've put together is a pretty cool tool, and I'm excited to hear about it. So, Moshe, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, terrific, Dustin. So thank you for having me, and hello everyone. I don't see faces, but I see that you're there. There was a great opportunity. We met a couple of weeks ago and we spoke about what we're doing, and you told us about your amazing stuff. And what I would start was just sharing in very simple words what YouCan is about, and then I will just take you through it, and then you can ask me questions. In general, I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. I live in Israel, in Tel Aviv, but I travel a lot. And about 6 years ago, I had this opportunity to come across the need for families of people with disabilities for something that didn't exist. We have a child in our family. He's my brother's son. His name is Erez, and he was born 12 years ago with a disability, both cognitive and physical limitations, very rare disease. And as the family got used to the idea that we have someone with disability in our family who requires different things, especially when it's a kid, you kind of learn that there are many, many things out there that are missing. And the two major ones that I've seen that were missing were the feeling of loneliness that a lot of people feel when they have a disability or they go through an accident and they become disabled, or they have a child with a disability, and it's a very, very lonely feeling, despite the fact that there are many people around you, and despite the fact that you may have a family and doctors, etc., still when it happens to you, it's a very, very lonely feeling. And I could see it in my brother, I could see it in my parents, I could see it in his wife and his brothers. And it was an amazing situation to me that although statistics are that every fifth family has someone with a disability and every 3 people know someone with a disability, still that feeling exists because a lot of people don't know how to help or where to help. So that was one thing. And the second thing that I've seen was the feeling of frustration that when you need something, that solution may not be in your neighborhood, may not be in your country, may not be with your doctors. It may be in another country. It may be with an organization that doesn't exist in your country. And it was an amazing situation to me that my feeling was that in the age of, Facebook and, Twitter and Instagram, etc., still there is a problem out there that people cannot find what they're looking for. So this frustration, loneliness feeling kind of led me to the idea that there must be some way that we can help, that we can solve it. So the idea was to develop a community which will allow people to share their experiences, to share their inspiration, to show what they're able to do, activities, hobbies, things that they actually do with a disability, and also share solutions, things that they can actually suggest to others to do. So, for example, if you're, in a wheelchair and you're paraplegic and you want to surf on water, I assume that there was somebody out there in the world that's actually done it, surfed on a board, a special board that was designed for him or for others, and he did it through an organization. And the fact is that there are lots of organizations like this around the world in many, many countries that teaches you to surf, helps you to surf, volunteers that work with you on surfing, and so many products out there that allow people to surf with different conditions. So this would go in the same manner to diving, to jumping out of airplanes, driving motorbikes, and no matter what your disability is, and it could be anyone, or in many cases, it's more than one, there's somebody out there in the world that's actually done it. So the idea was that we will create something which is inspiring. It's not gonna look medical, it's not gonna be sad, it's gonna be happy, it's gonna look great, it's gonna be designed great, and it's gonna be something that's very inspirational for people to come in and check out what's available, check out stories, check out products, check out services, and to do it in a simple way that people can actually search. So that's basically what we've done. 6 years ago, we set up to do it. It was kind of a crazy thing because usually when you set up startups, and we in Israel are very familiar with startups. As an investor myself, I know a lot of startups that come out of Israel. You guys probably know many of them. You may not know they came from Israel, but they do come out of Israel. And we decided to go ahead and build it. We raised money for it from investors in Israel and from other countries as well, from the US, from Australia, from South America. And we designed YouCan to be a for-profit business, not to be a philanthropy, but something that can eventually, once it's built, will sustain itself, will find a way to create revenues so we can sustain this operation, sustain this community, and not rely on donations. And this is something we're still working on. As you may know, startups are very, very difficult projects. And hey, by the way, here's my brother. He joined us, Yoav. I see him. Say hello, Yoav.
Hi,
Yoav
guys.
is Erez's father, and he may join us later for answers and or add whatever he wants to add. So we set up, Yoav and I and another partner of ours, George, to build it, and it took us about a year and a half to build it, and then to start creating awareness for it. So for over the last 6 years, what we've actually managed to do, we built a community of stories, thousands of stories from 105 countries. We have stories that come from every state in the US, from every country in Europe, from Africa, from Australia, from any Arab country you may think of course, from Israel. So we pretty much have stories from every country in the world, from every disability almost that exists out there, and from numerous activities that can be found on YouCan. So if you go on YouCanFind.com, and you can try it later, and I will show you in a minute an example, you can find on YouCan anything that you'll be interested in finding, from the country, the story, the activity, the people himself by name, a combination of things, products, organizations, and you can cross it. So you can say, I want to surf, and I want to surf in England, or I want to surf in US. What is available for me if I'm a paraplegic? And I would assume that as time went by, more and more stories came in, people will find something. They, depending on what they want to do, most likely there will be something out there for them. And we also opened an Instagram page, which is called You Can Do Anything. And it's really sharing every day, one story a day from somewhere in the world. And all those stories come from the site. So people could see our stories on Instagram. We ask people to share their stories. If they want to share their stories, they can send it to us, and we will put them on the site for free, of course. They can do it themselves. It's all user-generated content, so it's free. And what we do is we look for partners, corporate partners, and organizations to work with us and to build together programs and ideas that we can expand the YouCan vision together. For example, I can give one example. An Israeli bank, which is the leading bank in Israel, came to us and said, would you be able to translate YouCan into Hebrew? Which we didn't plan upfront because YouCan was available only in English. And they've actually sponsored the development of YouCan in Hebrew. So we developed it. We have our own tech team and our own content team. We designed it, we developed it. And now if you go on YouCan and you want to switch between languages, you can find YouCan both in English and Hebrew. And our next objective will be to find partners that we can translate it to other languages as well in different countries. And at the same time, they also asked us if we can develop on YouCan a database of job opportunities for people. So what we did was we developed a database, now available only in Hebrew, but the objective is to find partners in the US as well, that we can actually build a database of job opportunities on the YouCan site that companies can actually share jobs automatically designed for people with disabilities. And people with disabilities can actually search for those job opportunities and find a job, which is one of the biggest problems available today in the world of disability. A high percentage of people don't find a job because they would prefer, people with no disabilities for those jobs. So the vision that we have in mind is that no matter what the idea is, no matter what the opportunity would be, we want to work with partners, we want to work with people, we want to work with organizations, with corporate partners to develop the YouCan vision together and to find ways that are win-win situations for everyone. So that's in a nutshell what we've done. This is what we're building. And what I would do, Dustin, unless there's some questions up front, It's just show you an example of how it would look for somebody to search on YouCan.
Yeah, that's perfect. I do want to check with everybody. I had one attendee say that he couldn't see your screen, but I can. If anybody else is not able to see the YouCan website that he has pulled up, please let me know, and we'll try to get that figured out. But yeah, no, go ahead. I can see it, so I'm hopeful that it's just the one user that wasn't able to see that. So go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so let me do the resume share and see if it works. Um, do you see the screen now?
Yes, I still can, and I'm having, yes, other people are seeing it now, so we're good. Thank you.
Okay, so we were now in a story, but let me just go back into the YouCan front page. So this is what you'll see when you go into YouCan's site. Of course, if you go into the Instagram page, you'll click You Can Do Anything, and you will go into the Instagram page of YouCan. You can see the stories there, which are shared. But if you will go into youcanfind.com, which is basically what you see up here, the link, you would see this page, which is really like the front page of YouCan. And if you go through it, you will see that it says the Global Collaborative Community for People with Disabilities, for and by people with disabilities, so no one feels alone. And on the right side, you will see the story of the day, which is basically the story that we've uploaded today. And that story will also appear on our Instagram page. But every day, the story will change up here and be uploaded by our team on a daily basis. On the top here, you would basically see a couple of things. You would see the option of exploring stories by subjects. So any of these subjects, if you click on them, it will open up a page with different stories from around the world on that subject, on fashion, hobbies, innovation, etc. You can check and explore any one of them. You can also shop for products. What we've done is we've actually provided a link to relevant products that people may want to look for, which are relevant for people with disabilities. It could be books, it could be fashion, it could be specific products. And this is, again, designed by subjects, by things you want to do, outdoor activities, learning, education, etc. This Add Plus click really allow people to upload their stories. So if you want to share your story on YouCan, you will click on a personal story and you will fill in the page and then upload it. We will review it and upload it to our site for free. It will appear on our site. People can search for it. And that story will also appear on our Instagram page and our Facebook page as well. No charge, for free. You can also decide that you want to add as many stories as you want. There's no limit to how many stories you can add on YouCan. So we say to people, whenever you have a story you want to share, whenever you have something that you want to upload, whenever you want to kind of inspire others, go ahead and do it. If you want to do it on a daily basis, you want to do it on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, whatever you want to do, you can share as many stories as you want. And there's no limit on the videos you can share as well. You can also share a 10-tip article, which means if you have like suggestions and you want to add them, you can. And also you can recommend a product. If you have a good product that you want to recommend, you can do that as well. What we've recently added as well is a hyperlink that you can add to your stories, which means that if you want to promote a specific story, a specific product or a service, you can actually add a hyperlink and it will take it directly to that page, that blog, to that product, whatever you want to connect it to. So it's a very beneficial thing for vendors and for organizations we work with. We also allow, and I will show you in a minute, vendors and service providers to upload their services. And that will appear on the bottom of the page. So if you go to the bottom of the page here, you will see on the bottom a lot of information. There's information about us you can read. There is help that you can ask questions. There is join us as a vendor or become a service provider, which allows people to upload themselves as a vendor and sell products or become a service provider. And we have lots of those. We have more than 1,000 product providers and service providers on YouCan. On the bottom here, you can see many of them. And also these are some of our statistics. And also here on the bottom, you can see that you can search by disability, or you can upload your email and get our newsletter, which comes out every month. And that's again for free. Going back again, there's also a search that you can do by what we call tiles. So you can search a product or a story recommendation, which I mentioned before, and that would show you how it would look, uploading your information. It's very important for us that people tag themselves with the specifics of what their story is, so people can actually find it then by the search. And also add their Instagram page or Facebook profile, so we can actually reach out to them if somebody wants to connect with them. In some cases, people are looking for this person and they're asking us for help. So if we have that information, we can make the connection. We've also had cases where newspapers, they wanted to write an article about a person. So they basically reached out to us and asked us if we can make the connection. So if we have that information, we can actually make the connection, and then they can write a story about this person. And if a story is changed to a 10-tip article or to a product recommendation, naturally it will change the format. And then at the end, a person will upload their story, and then we will share it. So that's one example. Also, you can do it by stories. So as I mentioned before, you can search for stories, and whenever you look at a story of somebody, it will share what the disability is, where they come from. You can search stories on stories on stories. You can see more stories coming in from different countries. In every story, you will usually see where the person is from what country, their experiences, or you can search by subjects. So if you click here, you can search by country, whatever. You can search, let's say, surf, and then you put in sports, and disability, whatever it is. I don't know, whatever it is. So we can put in here cerebral palsy. I click on it. I didn't see. Yeah. And then if you click on search, it will show you examples of people surfing. The search is simple, and it's really designed to help people, find activities, find interest that they want to do, and inspire them that they can do a lot of things. And as you get into YouCan and you start searching, no matter what you want to do, from music, from sports, from extreme sports, whatever you want to do, you can actually find them on the YouCan site. And also you can reach out to specific products that may interest you, like, as I mentioned before, direct connections to relevant books or etc. that are done through the vendors themselves. So in this case, it's an Amazon. This is a book written on specific disability, and we are just making the connection. And naturally, as I mentioned before, our goal is really to be self-sustainable. So whenever people actually use YouCan also to buy, it will be something of good for us, because we will be able to get a certain commission, a very small commission, that will eventually help us sustain the business. So we really are looking for a win-win situation that on one hand will help people, and at the second hand will also sustain our business, so we don't rely on philanthropy, on people goodwill. That this will be something that, together with the organization and with vendors and with the community itself, we will be able to increase the awareness, to help people improve their life, connect them to others who will help them, inspire them, and for them to share their amazing stories and help others. That's in a nutshell what we do in YouCan. I hope it kind of gave you in 20 minutes, a full picture of what YouCan is about. And there's so much more that you can actually find. These are some of the organizations we work with, but we work with so many. Some of the the best ones that we've actually worked throughout the years.
Thank you.
Let me cut out of the screen, pause the share so you can see me again.
Thank you. That was great. Good overview. One question that I had is, as you were talking about the users that are uploading either content about themselves as well as stories and products, all that kind of stuff, how do people connect to other people that are using the platform? Is that through their contact information that they include in their profile?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a good question. What we found is that there are a couple of ways for people to do it. One is they see the story on Instagram, and then they seek out this person on Instagram and they make the connection. So they see us and then they make the connection. Second option is they come to our site. They see the person, they're interested, and then they write to us on the site, in our email, our information email, and they say, would you be able to connect me to Moshe or whatever it is? And then we have that information. We have the Facebook, we have the Instagram information, we have the email, and then we make the connection. And third option is that they find themselves on Facebook. I mean, they are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. You reach out to this person. And what's amazing about it is that there's so many people who actually made that connection. Once they found an amazing story or inspiring story on the site, they did the connection themselves. So we see ourselves as a promoter, as a connector, and we do it as part of our community belief that this is what we are here for.
And is there a cost for service providers to create a company profile, if you will?
No, no.
Great.
To become a service provider or a vendor on YouCan, there's no cost involved. A service provider is free completely. I mean, we charge anything, not for being on the site, not for presenting on the site, not for us promoting him on our social pages. We do that as part of our relationship and for free. The only thing we ask service providers is to share YouCan with their community. We say, look, what we're doing here is for the community. So can you please give us back by sharing the YouCan existence with your friends, with your community, on your social platforms, etc. And with vendors, what we say to vendors is, as long as you're on our platform, we don't charge anything. The only thing we would want to get is if you sell something. If you eventually sell something because of YouCan, I think it's only fair that we will get something out of that profit that you're making.
Which is a very typical marketplace type of model. So that's amazing. The question I was going to ask just completely spaced. Any attendees out there that are listening, please feel free to throw any questions that you have in there. Moshe, I know we had talked about this when we had talked the first time, but I need to start putting all of the content that Disability Cocoon is doing in here as a resource for everyone. And, I can see it being, why would I not want to have that information as many places as possible? One, just so that people have access to it. And obviously you have a very large platform here with a very big reach, but also it'll be a great, marketing tool for the company that I run. So for those of you that are out there that are tech vendors, I don't know if you noticed this, but when he was doing the presentation, they did have a technology, kind of categorization. So great way for you guys to get your stuff out there. Yep. and share as you are assisting people with using technology, and you get those amazing, personal stories of people. Obviously, get their
places and occasions where nobody's charging you anything, and it's for free. So why not? Why not be here?
Yeah.
So basically, I would suggest to anybody to present themselves, to upload their service, to share their story. It's basically free publicity. And in many cases, if you are on Instagram and you would like to expand your Instagram account with more people following you, the fact that you actually appear in a story takeover on our page, or we share your story, or we do a collaboration, it just gives you an opportunity to expand your reach, to expand your audience, to expand your exposure with others that have never seen you, not just in the US, but all around the world. So my suggestion to anybody is just do it. It takes you very few minutes. Usually uploading a story, from what we've seen, is anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes if you know what you're going to write. And to upload a service provider, if you know your information and you have all your information ready, that's 5-10 minutes, and it's free. So I would definitely suggest it, because you never know who's going to watch it. You never know who's going to see your page. You never know what collaboration you can create out of it. And we are all for collaboration. Whatever you suggest, as you know, Dustin, we spoke about a number of times, any suggestion, any idea, any crazy idea that somebody would come up with, we'll say, yes, let's try it. Let's see how it works.
That's great. Well, Moshe, thank you. Really appreciate your time today. Yosef, thank you for joining us.
It's Yoav, and I just would like to say one thing for you guys. First of all, thank you for letting us present YouCan. Just to give you my important point here is that it's not about just having an inspiration story. It's also about just sharing an experience, an ongoing daily experience, letting other people learn from what we do in a different way, because as we all know, disability is not one-dimensional. And the best learnings are actually surprising when you come and learn from someone else, which has a different or disability, and you're saying, hey, that solution actually can work to my limitation, which is unique, because we all know that beyond the categorization, the limitations are unique. So specifically, you can actually find a solution, say, hey, I'm going to reach out to this guy because that solution is actually what I need. And the whole idea is to not just promote this inspirational story as a one-timer, but more like giving towards the community and having this ongoing discussion through experience sharing, tips, and of course, mutual learning. So that's an important point to emphasize.
Yeah, very good point. Thank you. And I think it's
thank you, Dustin. Thank you so much, Dustin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you guys. And for those of you that are listening, get the people that you're supporting on this to connect and to learn themselves. So great resource, guys. Really appreciate your time today. Hope everybody enjoyed
Thank you so
this.
much. Thank you for having us.
We do have a comment in here. This is a great resource. Thank you. So thank you guys again. And if you're watching
And
this,
shalom from Israel.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.